So right now I want to go over how to change any repeating decimal into a fraction. So right now our first example is 0.63 repeating. And we know this bar that's going over 63, 0.63 basically means that the 63 repeats over and over. Now looking at this, we see that the last digit in the underneath the repeating bar is a 3, which is in the hundredths place. So what I'm going to do on both sides is I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. Now if later on I'm going to show an example where there are 3 numbers underneath the repeating bar, which means it would be over on the thousands place, which means we multiply by 1,000. But in this case, we multiply by 100. So we're going to go ahead and multiply by 100. Now on the left side, we are technically multiplying it by 100, but I'm just going to keep it in that form. But on the right side, notice that if I do multiply 0.636363 by 100, I'm basically moving it 2 spaces to the right. So I now get 63.6363 repeating. So ultimately our goal is to get rid of the repeating part because we ultimately want to make it into a fraction. So one way to get rid of that is to subtract it out. Now remember how to keep our equations balanced. If I subtract 0.6 repeating on the right side, I gotta do the same to my left. And I'm keeping it in the same format, but really we're subtracting the same quantity. Now on the right side, it's pretty simple in the sense that the repeating portion is subtracted out and all I'm left with is the 63, which is what I want. And on the left side, I notice that if I treat this 0.63 repeating as a variable, like an x, then I technically have 100 of the number minus 1 of the number, leaving me with 99 of my original number. 100 minus 1. So again, if we treat 0.63 as a variable again, I want to get rid of this 99. So in order to undo the multiplication that's going on, I'm going to divide both sides by 99. So here we notice nicely cancels out. And then I'm left with 0.63 repeating, which is what I want. I want to know what it equals. And we basically take that fraction. Now always make sure that it's completely simplified. So it is 63 over 99, but if you simplify it all the way through, we actually get 7 over 11. So that is what my 0.63 repeating decimal is equivalent to. That's my fraction. So I wanted to do just a couple more examples. So the one that we did where I showed the entire process was 0.63 repeating. Now what if I have 3 numbers though? So we look at that number, we look at the 1, the last number is in the thousands place this time. So instead of looking at, and actually just to backtrack a little bit, we notice that for our original problem, we see a pattern, right? So we don't have to do this process every single time, but understanding the process is really important. So we look at this and we notice that for 63 repeating, since 3 was in the 100th place, 100 minus 1 is 99. So we treat the 0.381 repeating the same way. So 1 is in the thousands place, and 1,000 minus 1 is 999. So now that is what it's over. And we put the number underneath the repeating bar as a numerator. And in the same way, one more example, 0.3 repeating. We look at the 3. It's in the 10th place. 10 minus 1 is 9. And we put 3 on top. And we can't forget, which I actually forgot in the last example, but always make sure to simplify. So actually this simplifies to 127 over 333. So that would be my final answer. So this is how you change repeating decimals into fractions.